you fabulous artists. Deborah Lynn here in the studio. Today, I'm going to speed up the film and just make this a very quick one. And we're going to do peonies again, but we're going to do them extremely vibrant. And I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to talk to you about how I go about doing that. So, first of all, the most important thing here is to make sure that your substrate, your paper that you're using, is 100% cotton. We need for the amount of water that is being used and the amount of pigment and everything, you need a good foundation. Just like building a house, you have to have a decent foundation. Sometimes when we're starting out, we tend to think we need to be using the cheap stuff to be practicing on. You're only hurting yourself by doing that. Get yourself some decent paper. I'll drop links of everything I'm talking about here, even the paper that I use. I tend to use, I swear by Fabriano Artistico paper, but only the ones, you can buy it in block form, but I have a there's a little difference to it. I don't know if it's coming from a different plant and what the deal is, but it has a tendency to buckle just a little bit. But the paper that comes, a full sheet of paper, seems to be the one that works the best for me. And I get it all the time. How do you get your paper not to ripple? Well, I find that although I love Arches paper, when I use it, my paper starts rippling. But when I use this Fabriano, it doesn't. I don't stretch my paper. I don't do any of that. Okay? And I don't have an issue with any of that. So go ahead and check out the paper. Get yourself some. Buy a 10-pack. Invest in your art. Okay? And the second thing would be make sure that you're using tube paint. In order to get the vibrancy that you're seeing here, you're going to need fresh, squeezed tube paint. Now, you might say, well, I already put fresh squeezed tube paint already in my pan, and it's dried, and then I reactivate it. Then what you do then, which is what I do, a lot of times I'll put fresh squeezed in that well, and you keep adding to that well, because in these moments where you want to pull full throttle with the color, you need fresh squeezed tube paint. You need it to be fresh out of the tube. And although we're not going to paint strictly with that, we will have some water to a degree on our brush. And as you can see, that Perylene Violet that's on my tray right there, the more I dip into it, the more I dip my brush into the water and then go grab some paint, that water is offloading onto that tray, and it's making kind of a very beautiful puddle of Perylene Violet. And the more water we have in our pigment, the lighter the value. The less water we have, the higher value. So you need to be able to have highs and lows and medium values. You need to have all that, okay, to have a successful painting. If you're just painting with really weak paint and you're being stingy and you're using pan paint, you're not getting the values that you need to, the tube paint will allow you to get to those deeper saturations of pigment. So that's what you need. You need decent paper, professional watercolor. Okay, I love the Magello. Okay, I'm going to go through the ones I love. Magello is very highly pigmented. Okay, I highly suggest getting yourself some Magello. If you do a lot of flowers, or if you like bold paintings, Magello. The next one is Daniel Smith. The Magello paints don't have good greens. They really need to work on their greens. So if Magello, if you're listening, work on your greens. Daniel Smith, love their greens. Buy their greens. M. Graham makes a superior product. And Holbein. I love all of those. Those are the ones that I favor. So, so we decent cotton paper, Fabriano Artistico, decent paint, tube paint, not pan. Pan's great for if you're doing, you know, you're traveling or whatever and you want to make your life easy. Okay, you can put your tube paint, and I do it. I put my tube, you can see all my trays there. I put my tube paint in those wells. But a lot of times when I feel like I really want to push the envelope, then I need to freshen those pans up and put fresh tube paint in. Okay. The other thing is make sure that your paper is not like a traditional white. Go for the more extra white, bright white, whatever the manufacturer might call it. You'll want to go to those more bleached white colors. So because watercolor is translucent, what's below it will actually affect the colors. So keep that all in mind. What else? If you if you use a spray ink like I will be doing in this video, I'm creating the base where the flowers are. I'm creating that bottom to be like very dimensional. Okay, so I've got blue, so there's many layers. So I had the blue, then the perylene violet, and I didn't do a solid perylene violet. If you're watching, there's like mark making, like lines. And then I go in and I put little white dots. And then I go in and put more of the perylene, and I think there's Janet's Violet Roses also in here. So there's perylene violet and Janet's Violet Rose. That's another line that I like, is the American Journey line. And it's not so expensive. So it's more, a little bit more of that little bit cheaper paint, but it's really nice. And that's sold by Cheap Joe's. So I have a little bit of Janet's Violet Rose, Perylene Violet in that bottom, and then I go in and I put in some spray ink on top of it to really make it sing. And you'll see that here in a minute. There's that little bit of that Janet's Violet Rose, I think, coming into play. So now I'm waking that texture of that table up, and it's like if it's sitting on some kind of bright pink kind of like tablecloth or something. You do whatever you want to do with your tabletop. This is just what I came up with as I was playing around. So those are the things to get your painting to sing. Now at the top, you can see that there's a lot of active brush work. There's a lot of texture in the background. If I was just to sit there and paint it and make it look perfect, there's no texture to that blue. If you do like brush work and your brush, you can see all the brush marks, and then you put the next layer on, you're kind of going to get a variation, okay, where it has a little bit of dimension to it. And so I didn't do like a rock solid background. There is dimension in it. So even though it's just like a blue background, but there's still highs and lows in it. So I hope that I explained myself well enough to you guys. In the meantime, I'm going to let you watch to the end, okay? And I did speed this up. If you want to slow it down, you can do that. You probably have to mute me because otherwise my voice will drag and it won't sound right. So you'll want to mute me, but go up to the gear, and then you can change the speed. You can make it even faster, or you can make it real slow. So in the meantime, you guys, stay safe out there in this crazy world. Stay well, and may God bless each and every one of you. Bye for now.